Welcome, Nose to Tail podcasters. I'm here with a special edition of our podcast. I'm with Craig Ferguson, who's on a 3,000-mile walk called the Tartan Trek. He's raising money to support mental health, and he's on his way from Los Angeles to Boston for the Scotland World Cup in a kilt. Welcome, Craig. How you doing?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for taking the time to kind of share my story and come on and chat. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'd like you to give maybe the short version of what inspired you to start this trek and why it is that mental health support is something so near and dear to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So for anyone sort of not aware, I'm currently walking the entire length of the USA. Started in LA 56 days ago, and we're heading to Boston for the first match of the World Cup. And to be honest, I think some people look at that and go, why on earth is someone going to do that? Why would you want to walk across America? But there's a much deeper message behind why I do it all. There's a really important reason, and that is, of course, to try and raise vital funds and awareness for mental health. I think it would probably have to go back to early 2024. Scotland had just qualified for the European Championships, another football tournament, and well, I decided that I was going to walk from Glasgow to Munich for that tournament. The reason that came about is one of my best friends back home gave me the idea. He said, you should just walk to the tournament, and I ended up going ahead and doing it. Anyways, the real reason why I wanted to do this and support mental health was because sadly Struan's father took his own life 7 years ago. Russell was an incredible man, and I thought the least that I could do after him kind of helping me come up with that idea is go and raise money for men's mental health and mental health causes and kind of give back as a thank you to him. So that was kind of the spark that lit the flame, if you will. And then ever since, I've just continued my mental health advocacy. I'm 22 years old. I've raised over, $200,000 for mental health. And I just try and create a bit of positivity by walking very far in a kilt. That's the kind of summary of it in total.
Well, thank you for going on the journey itself. Mental health for our team at Jetman West has had a similar impact where we lost one of our longtime employees and great friends. We've actually lost two in our careers, and it's devastating to the individuals and those left behind. And we certainly can empathize with those feelings and sensations that surround it. And I do believe that men's mental health, especially, is a very big challenge. Young men and young adults that are dealing with some things and going through COVID and lockdowns. It is a very difficult process for us as men, and especially men impacting boys, that they can have a place and an outlet that's healthy for them, and that they know that there's hope and something on the other side. As you go on this journey, you're raising money, and if people want to donate money, they can go to the Tartan Trek, and they certainly should be following you on your Instagram, which is Craig Ferguson _1, and they can continue to watch your journey. I've been introduced to this journey a couple of weeks ago, so I've enjoyed watching your content, and I think that it is a little bit mad, but I love it anyway, because that's really what this is about, is doing something special and making sure you're giving back to your community.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And like I've always said, if I can do these crazy challenges, if I can go out there and try and create just a little bit of good, I always say, look, I know that me walking very far in a kilt, it's not going to change the world, right? I'm under no false illusion of that. But what I hope to achieve is, if even one person finds that, this challenge helped them in any way, maybe motivated them, inspired them to go out and speak to someone and seek getting help. And like you said, you said, guys struggle with mental health in particular. And I don't know the stats in America, but especially in the UK, we see that around 70% of all suicides in the UK are men that take their own life, which is stats that break my heart to say. And, I want to kind of be that light for people to showcase, it doesn't really matter who you are, where you've come from, or what you do. There's someone out there willing to walk 3,000 miles to kind of prove to guys and to everyone out there that they're not in this fight alone. There's someone in their corner. And, if people see that as me, then that would make me really, really proud.
Well, again, I completely agree with you. I happen to be lucky enough in my life to be a coach. I coach football and rugby, and coach a lot of youth sports. And, we want to avoid every tragedy we can by making sure that young men know that they're surrounded by people that love them. So let's talk a little bit about your journey. You started in Los Angeles. We initially tried to meet up with you in our offices in Kansas City, which would have been amazing. But our timing, I happened to be traveling this week and missed you. I don't know why you couldn't walk faster. I mean, geez Louise, couldn't have got there on Monday. I could have done this on Monday morning, but I've never walked 3,000 miles, so I'll forgive you for that one.
Yeah.
So tell us, where are you at currently?
Yeah, so 56 days ago, started on Santa Monica Pier. It feels like a lifetime ago, to be honest. Definitely, I'm not looking as fresh as I did all the way back then when I started, but the journey so far has just been unbelievably incredible. You know, even thus far, I think that already, you know, it's been the journey of a lifetime. Me and my support driver, Matthew, joke and say, you know, we're going to be 70 one day looking back on this going, remember when we travelled across America and me walked it? So it's just been amazing. We came up through California, across the Mojave Desert, which being from Scotland, trust me, I am not built for that kind of heat, into Vegas, up through Arizona, through a little bit, into Utah, up and over the Rocky Mountains, across to Denver, and then I have just been tackling the flat, boring plains of Kansas for the past 16 days, and today we made it to Kansas City. So I'm literally right now where we're on camera. I'm looking across at the Kansas City Chiefs stadium. So yeah, we've made it to Kansas City in one piece. So a huge milestone for sure.
Well, I appreciate you stopping by Arrowhead, give them a big wave. I huge Chiefs fans here, but I gotta find out what hurts the most right now.
I would probably go for feet. I think feet are the one that's definitely in the worst condition if I had to choose just one. But to be honest with you, my whole body's sore. It aches everywhere, but you know, you've just got to keep plodding on. I think it's that Scottish grit and determination that's just going to continue to get me there. You know, at the heart of it, I know that I've got to see Scotland at the World Cup at the end of it all. So, you know, that's a huge reward for me. That's why I do it. At the end of the day, I'm a crazy football fan who's willing to walk all this distance to watch his nation. So everywhere's hurting, but to be honest with you, as long as the mind's sane, then that's all I can ask for.
Well, that's amazing. So far, you're halfway. What is your favorite place so far that you've been able to journey through?
Oh, good question. I would hate to pit different states against each other like that, but if I had to choose one, what my favourite has been, I would say that as well as being probably the hardest, I think Colorado was probably my favourite state. I'm a man of the mountains and being outdoors, and you know the scenery there coming up and over the Rocky Mountains was just incredible. You know, managed to do so much in the time that we had in Colorado, and we were in Denver. We went to an Avs game in the NHL, which I'd never been to before. That was really cool. So there's been so many different experiences, but I think the friendliest people were probably Kansas. The people in Kansas were extremely friendly. But there's been lots of highlights so far. But if I had to choose one, I would say probably Colorado just nips it.
Well, I'll tell you, Colorado's an amazing place. My parents retired there, and I've spent a lot of my life up in the mountains, and I do agree with you. It's pretty amazing. Well, let's
Yeah.
talk about the fundraiser itself. How much money have you raised so far, and what's your goal?
Yeah, so the goal is set all the way at £1 million, which is a lot of money. And, you know, I'm under no false illusion that that isn't a massive ambitious target. But I think that the challenge, you know, is matching it in ambition. And I really hope that if everyone can get behind it, you know, we have the whole of America, the whole of Scotland back home, we will be able to reach that. So far, we've managed to raise an incredible about £110,000 so far, which I think is about $150,000. So an incredible amount of money that we've raised so far, but there's still a long way to go, you know, as the hype for the World Cup builds and it gets closer to that. Hopefully the support just grows and grows, and you know everyone can get behind the cause of why we're actually doing it. So fingers crossed we see that total tick up and up.
Absolutely. How can people donate?
The best way for people to donate is, like you said, if they follow me on social media, they'll see the links posted on there all the time. The link is in my bios on all social media, or if people want to just go directly online, they can visit the tartantrek.co.uk. You can go on there and donate. any donation is massively, massively appreciated. As I've been talking about, this cause is not only so close to my heart, but to hundreds of millions of people all across the world. So, any support would be hugely appreciated. Really, really, really far from that goal. And if we can get a little bit closer, it would mean the absolute world to me, and, make it even more sweet when we get to Boston and have that nice ice cold pint at the end.
Well, I'll tell you what, I wish I could be there to have that pint with you. I definitely would enjoy that. I'd like to let you know that Karen and I and my brother Paul, who own Jet Midwest, we're going to be donating $5,000 to your program, and we're gonna encourage our employees to match up to that number and get that donated to you guys. I'd like to leave you with the last word. What do you want to leave our followers? What do you want to leave them with as the final message?
I mean, first of all, thank you guys so much. That's an incredible donation, and it really does mean the world to me. I think my final message to everyone is, if you like the sound of this, if you really buy into the cause, if mental health is important to you, or if you just find it crazy that someone's attempting to walk across America in a kilt, then please, please, please support this challenge. Go on, donate, follow me on all socials, and get behind this. We're going to get to Boston. I believe it. We're halfway there. Nothing's going to stop this Scotsman now.
I firmly believe you, and 1,000% sure I'm going to see you raising a pint to a Scotland victory in Boston.
Yes.
Craig, thank you so much for giving us the time. I appreciate it, and I think we're going to have some Scotland fans maybe wearing some Scotland jerseys watching the games here in Kansas City.
Amazing. Thank you, man.
Thank you. Have a great journey.
Thank you for listening to our podcast, Nose to Tail. Please like and subscribe to our channel. Presented by Jet Midwest.